Hi, I'm Danny Lipford.
And I'm Chelsea Lipford-Wolf.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And be sure to share with a friend, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. This week on Today's Homeowner, we're helping a West Coast homeowner clear her to-do list and add interest to her home. And we're going to get started on this thing today.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Good. What do you think so far?
Unbelievable.
Every year we feature a contest called Win Danny and His Crew, where contestants tell us about the projects on their to-do list. The winner gets a visit from us to help them tackle their chores and have a little fun along the way. This year that means a trip to California. Just an hour north of San Francisco is the city of Santa Rosa, which is the home of contest winner Becky West.
I started following Today's Homeowner on Facebook. And the very first day that I added them to follow, I saw that there was a contest to win Danny and His Crew. I love the show. So I said, I'm going to win that contest. And my boyfriend laughed at me. I have never won anything. I've never even entered. So within about 2 weeks, I started making a list. And the very first thing I said was, I would love to have the pump in my pond work. It's never worked since I bought the house, and I thought that would be fun. And before I knew it, I had a great big long list. A week later, I got a producer calling me, and she said, I'm a finalist. And I just about lost it. A week later, I get another call on my phone, and I hear Danny's voice, and I said, well, there's no way he'd be calling me with bad news. This is amazing!
Besides the pond pump on the patio, there are several projects in front of the house that will really affect her curb appeal, so that's where we get started with Becky.
This path has been here since I moved in, and I love the stones, but I haven't taken care of them. So through just neglect, they've started to wear down and erode and peel, and they're becoming a safety issue. Not to mention they're just getting a little ugly.
Speaking of looking good, your house really looks great. I know you had it painted recently.
Absolutely, yeah, just within the last month. I picked out the colors. I absolutely adore it, but I think it needs just a little bit more. So I'd like to see maybe some accent on the garage or on the front door, something to really bring that curb appeal up just a notch.
And speaking of curb appeal, I know you were worried about the plants out here.
Oh, our
What exactly is this thing here?
We had a giant pampas grass take over last season, and it's very invasive. So I was able to hack it down, but the roots are still there, and the base of it is just a big, ugly stump now.
You also mentioned about the irrigation system, but I see an irrigation system.
Yeah, I have a spray irrigation system around the perimeter right now, but especially with the tall grasses, it frequently blocks it. So it's just not as efficient as it could be. Just to be a little more water-wise, it would be nice if I could maybe switch to drip or spray or something just a little bit more efficient.
Well, all of these are some real typical things we hear that people have on their list all the time. They only require just a few materials here and there. We're going to grab those materials, and we're going to get started on this thing today.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
The walkway has lots of cracked or missing mortar, plus a few missing stones. So Becky and Chelsea scrounge up some replacement stones and then begin mixing the mortar while I start trying to make these random flagstones fit in to the existing irregular shaped holes. You know, the craftsmanship of shaping these stones is very much like a caveman.
A little more.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Becky's just a little bit silly, but I like it a lot. All right, so we want it to be kind of a pancake batter, so we probably need a little bit more water. Are you satisfied with your mixing? Test it. I might have put too much water in it. I don't know, that's what my pancakes look like.
Even though we dry fit the stones, when we remove them to trowel in the mortar, it's easy to forget how they were oriented.
How did we have it in there?
Oh, we should have taken a picture.
That one definitely went on that side.
Now, if you love jigsaw puzzles, this is the job for you.
Good thing we're here.
I can make it work.
You guys had one of your tidbit tips where you took a 5-gallon bucket like that and cut out a V-shaped notch on two sides and a square. I'm totally going to do that. I was like, that is brilliant.
Joe's gonna love this story.
Especially since I sawed off the front of a kitchen chair using it as a sawhorse.
Oh.
That's totally something that would happen to me.
Once all the stones are set, we begin replacing the missing mortar around the rest of them.
You know we have another trowel over here. You look pretty fearless there with just your hands.
I don't mind getting my hands dirty. In fact, watching your shows gave me the confidence to try regrouting my shower.
Well, have you always done a few little things around the house?
I find some of it intimidating, and when I see normal people doing it, I'm like, well, heck, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Who told you we were normal?
Well, there is that.
You know, I love it when the information that we share really motivates a homeowner.
I had never heard that you were supposed to take the cover off of your exhaust fan in the bathroom. I did not know that was a thing. So I watched a show where someone had done that with you, and all of a sudden I couldn't help but think, what's going on with my exhaust fan in my bathroom? So 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, I was in my nightshirt, standing up on the toilet with the hand vacuum in my hand, pulling off the cover of the exhaust fan in the bathroom and vacuumed that puppy up. And
cordless tools, we all have them, we all love them, and we all have the same problem. How to keep them stored out of the way, yet readily available when you need them? Well, here's one idea. Make a cradle, a hanging cradle, out of a length of PVC pipe, and then mount it to the underside of a shelf. Start with a 10-inch long piece of 3-inch diameter PVC pipe and drill a hole with a hole saw about 1 3/4 inch diameter. Then use a jigsaw to cut out the slot. And then all you need to do is take a couple of 1-inch screws and mount it to the underside of the shelf. You can see that the slot allows you to slide the drill right in there. There's plenty of length, so even if you have a drill bit in there, goes right in there. Impact drivers, they fit in there as well. No problem, slide them right in. And if you have enough space underneath the shelf, as I do here, you can line up 3, 4, 5 of these pieces of pipe and store all your cordless tools up, out of the way, but available when you need them.
This week we're in Santa Rosa, California to help Becky West, the winner of the Win Danny and His Crew contest.
Another very important thing that's on Becky's list is to be able to repair or replace the pond pump. That way, this pond can be a nice waterfall. But before we can do anything, we've got to get the water out of the pond.
I purchased a submersible pump to replace the old one and power the waterfall, but first I'm using it to pump out the stagnant water into a nearby drain. The pond will take a while to empty, so after I trim the shrubs from around it, I'm off to tackle the pampas grass stump in the front yard.
well, we've cut it back, but we've never actually tried to get the whole stump out.
I may be digging on this thing for days.
The stump has been sitting there for about 6 months mocking me. Better you than me.
Let's try some chopping. Shall we chop?
I cannot wait to see it completely gone.
Making progress here. Maybe only a day and a half.
I like that ripping sound. It sounds productive.
That's my hamstrings.
Oh, I am so glad to see the backside of that pampas grass.
Okay, you ready?
I'm gonna try.
One,
On 3,
2, 3.
Pampas basketball seems like a pretty good way to end the day.
You got yours in.
I barely got
Good
it
job,
in.
good job.
So early the next morning, I start with something less strenuous by checking out the conversion of the existing sprinkler system to drip irrigation. Becky's screen security door has a little rust on it, so she and Chelsea are prepping to spray paint it before we add some accent colors.
We're just lightly knocking down the rust, and then that paint helps prevent more rust from happening. Becky just paid someone to paint her house, so she's a little overprotective of the paint job and is going a little overboard with all the painter's tape. She thinks she's so much better at taping than me. I can't say I blame her.
While the paint dries, the girls position the new plants so that we can plant them before we install the drip irrigation lines.
So this one grows 2 to 4 feet tall and wide. So your tendency is to want to put a whole lot of them in a small space so that it looks nice when they're done planting, but you really do need to account for how big they're gonna grow once they're mature, and the tags on the plants will give you a good insight into that. Once they're established, they're drought tolerant.
Yes. Yeah, the one out back I neglect wonderfully and it thrives.
There you go.
Paula. Paula. I shall call her Paula. I like that I have a plant with a name. It gives it a little bit more character.
I shall call her Paul. She would appreciate that.
I bet she would.
Well, I will take good care of Paula here.
Take a little bit of the roots off. It's starting to get a little root bound.
I thought you had to be very delicate, that you might kill them if you were too vicious with them, but she was just hacking off roots and screwing them around and plopping them in the ground, and she says they'll thrive that way. They like a little abuse, apparently.
When the plants are all in, I connect the drip irrigation pipe.
You grab that, Chelsea, you grab this side, and let's see about a big circle that will wiggle around through there.
Where's the separation?
There is no separation, it's a big loop.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Ah.
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I was looking for an end too, Chelsea.
Someone didn't explain the rules very well.
Okay, you see how the little holes are already, every 6 inches are made into that?
Nice.
Once the tubing is positioned, we add mulch over it, which will hide the tubing and hold in the moisture it delivers. With the landscaping complete, it's time to start on the garage door, and the first step is masking off the pattern for the accent color.
Becky can't help but get involved in all of the projects that we're doing here on the front of the house. And it's just like any of us when we're doing projects at our house. You really get hooked by that instant gratification. She loves all of the new flower bed and the plants and all of the mulch. And after they finish the accent painting on the garage door, they're going to paint this little sunburst design in orange color. I got to see that. My next project is to remove this light fixture and replace it with one with a motion detector, which is something else that's on our list.
Motion detector lights connect like most fixtures, with the power turned off.
Got it off.
You connect black wire to black wire, white to white, and green wire to bare ground wire.
All right, that is definitely orange.
I love it. It is bold. It's just paint. If I hate it, I'll paint over it. But why not make a bold statement? It's something fun. Why do I want to look like every other cookie cutter house?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4 is 16 squares, so we get 8 each.
All right.
So let's race.
Oh, that's not fair. I'm a little worried because I think she has a bit more experience than me. We'll see who's gonna win though.
I never start a race that I know I'm not gonna win.
You know, I bet you this is a common sight in your house. I know it is in mine. It's amazing how many devices that we have that use a USB port to charge. But did you know that all different devices have their own specific power requirement to charge effectively and efficiently? So that can be a problem if you're charging up your device if it doesn't get the right power, because it can damage your battery over time. Well, Leviton has come out with an outlet that will help eliminate that. There are outlets out there that have USB ports built into them, but what separates this one is it's got the smart chip technology. Now, what that chip will do is when you plug your USB into here and it plugs into your device, it automatically recognizes that device and optimally starts to charge that device so it doesn't overcharge it and damage the battery over time. And it'll do it every time. So if you have a problem or you're not quite sure, this little receptacle will eliminate all guesswork and charge those devices properly every time.
Becky West won a contest, and Chelsea and I are the prize. We're helping her tackle her to-do list, most of which has to do with the curb appeal here on the front of her home. The landscape improvements have made a big difference already. Now it's time to continue our work on the stone walkway.
The grout work that we did on the flagstone sidewalk made it look so much better, and it's going to hold up a lot better, but we want to make sure that it stays looking good. First thing we're going to do is clean it thoroughly, then apply 2 coats of a clear masonry sealer. Now, there's actually cleaner that's made specifically for cleaning natural stone like this.
And this one from Custom Building Products is concentrated, so for most applications you mix it with water, but these stones are so dirty I'm applying it directly to a damp surface before I start scrubbing. You can literally see the dirt coming right off. After a thorough rinse, we'll wait for it to dry. Meanwhile, Chelsea continues work on the garage door accents, and I'm changing out all of the locks on Becky's front doors.
So am I gonna have to have 3 sets of keys to go in each door?
No, you know, used to you had that problem where you'd have to have a locksmith come out, that kind of thing, to key them all out. But what I was able to do here is just match the same keyway on each one of them. And so you'll have 1 key, actually 6 keys that are all alike for these 6 units.
Once the locks are complete, it's time to head back out to the pond, which is almost empty.
Our little submersible pump did a really good job in getting the water this low. That's a lot of water that we were able to pump out of here in about an hour and a half or so. But when we got down to the bottom, there's all kinds of stuff down here, and sludge and gravel and a little bit of everything else. So the only way to finish draining this so that we can install the pump is a bucket at a time.
That is disgusting. Oh, that was rank. Absolutely vile. Whew.
I would start hauling if I was you. Haul your honey bucket out of here.
Wow.
So how much of that do you have to take out and why?
Really want to get every drop out so that it starts out clean.
Okay. but I have never cleaned it out completely. I can only imagine the sludge that might be at the bottom of that thing.
This is like the last Win Danny episode to be taped.
Because you're gonna die?
Yeah. Let them win someone else. I got stuff to do.
Once I finally get it all cleaned out, we begin refilling the pond with clean water. Then I connect some landscape tubing to the submersible pump so I can route it up to the waterfall and bring it back to life.
I have a waterfall!
Not a bad way to end the day. The next morning, we start with something cleaner. We're inside installing some new electrical devices from our friends at Leviton. One is a receptacle that includes both Type A and Type C USB connections, so you have all the bases covered. The other is a light switch from the Renew collection. Once the mechanism of the switch is installed, you can change the switch and cover color without the use of tools.
So Becky, this is the Renew light switch I was telling you about, and with all the different colors. And I chose this one because it matches up to the wall, but I know that's too dull for you. So you had 20 colors to choose from. What did you decide?
It was a little tough to narrow it down,
Narrowed it down to a couple, I see.
narrowed it down to these two, and as I look at it next to the wall, I think I'm gonna go with the onyx.
You're going with the onyx black then, okay. I'll tell you what's so cool about it. I know I told you about this, but all you have to do is just lift that off. Then you're actually able to move this like that, and then give me the other one there, the black. You can change it anytime you want. Look at that. And then...
And look at that, there's no screws or anything. You don't have to turn the power off, just switch it out.
I know, it's pretty cool. And if you decide later to maybe change and go a little red delicious, you can do that as well.
Awesome.
Speaking of color, it's time to add the last accent to the front of the house.
All right, is it looking good?
I love it.
And you know, don't push down too far, it's gonna goop over on the sides. If only it smelled like marmalade glaze, then that would be appropriate. Don't eat it.
Well, I repaired all of the flagstone and allowed the grout to dry. Then yesterday afternoon, I washed it real thoroughly. Now I'm ready to put on 2 coats of the sealer that's really gonna make this sidewalk come to life.
This water-based sealer penetrates the stones and mortar to protect the surface from all kinds of stains. But instead of giving the walkway a glossy fake look finish, it creates a no-sheen natural look. And the Rapid Cure formula means I can recoat it in half an hour and the walk will be ready for light traffic 2 hours after that.
You know, there's something that Becky didn't have on her list, but she kind of casually mentioned it, is how she loves to put up these sailcloths out here. The problem is she has the connection points there.
On the house,
but
okay.
You see that?
The orange?
Yeah, where she tried to drill in there and just didn't have the right masonry bit to do it. So
okay.
I got a brand new bit. I thought it'd be a pretty cool little surprise if we could pull this off.
Okay, awesome. I'll get them unfolded.
Okay.
A brand new masonry bit makes all the difference in this job, and a hammer drill helps as well. I'm using a lead anchor dipped in epoxy glue to line the holes so that the hook I'm installing won't have a chance of pulling loose. Now all that's left to do is to hang the sailcloth and pack up our tools. Becky's biggest concern when she entered our contest was her patio pond that had grown stagnant without a pump. We cleaned out all the crud and brought it back to life with a brand new pump. And fixing the anchors for her sun sails means she'll be able to enjoy it in the shade. In front, there were some security issues to correct, like replacing the door hardware and upgrading the porch light with a motion detecting model, but the biggest changes were to the curb appeal. The old cracked walkway has been repaired, cleaned, and sealed to ensure that it continues to look great. The landscaping that was a little worn and weary now has a lot of new life and a new, more efficient source of water to keep it looking that way. And Becky's color accent additions to the front door and garage door have given her home the bold, individual look she wanted.
I am so impressed with what Danny and Chelsea have done. Just a couple changes here and there on the front has made the house look amazing, and I just could not be happier with the way everything turned out. The colors bring out the front, the landscaping ties it all together, and the path, I'm just so relieved it's much safer to walk on now, plus it's gorgeous. I love my back patio, but because it faces west, it gets a lot of heat in the summer, so I don't really use it a lot during the hottest months of the year. But now that I have the sailcloths back up, and I've got that lovely pond in the corner with the nice soothing waterfall, a little bit of shade, a nice cup of tea, I can sit out there all afternoon now.
I really think we made a big difference in the curb appeal of Becky's house by doing just a few simple projects. And things went so well, we were able to even do a few extra things. You know, that's the way it is when you own a home. You're gonna have a list of things you need to do. The secret is to do a few things along the way so that that list doesn't get too long. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week, right here on Today's Homeowner. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.